everyone, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. As usual, we have lots and lots in store for you on the show tonight, including top reasons why losers give up. We're also going to be speaking to Leah Perkins from the Happy Millionaire. Also, I don't know if you remember Jane Wrafter, CEO of American Tobacco. Well, he's given us 5 steps to success, and it's a very, very interesting video a bit later on. We're also going to have an interview with Miss Jamaica UK, who is going to be telling us about her success. And also, of course, we have our self-development clinic with Chris Brown later on. But first of all, as always, we have our news, this time with the lovely Rihanna. Hello, Rihanna.
Hi, Chrissy.
Oh, are you quiet today? What happened?
Me?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. I broke a nail a few minutes ago, so...
It's a major disaster in the studio, everyone. She broke a nail.
Right,
Let me see.
It's awful.
It's not too bad.
Don't zoom in. But yeah, I'm back now. Interesting stuff I have to discuss today.
Okay, tell us.
I just don't know how you're going to react to this. So, lovely British lady, she was there in America, and she was hailing a cab so she can go to the hospital, but then another woman just cut through, jumped in the cab, and she ended up giving birth on the streets of New York.
Oh no.
Scary stuff.
So she went over there heavily pregnant then, on holiday?
Well, she was there, I think she was there for quite a while and decided not to move until after giving birth.
Okay.
So she was on her way to the hospital, and then this woman just jumped in her cab. I mean, I think New York is that crazy, that's why I really want to go there. And she just ended up, you know, giving birth on the streets of New York. I mean, how do you do that? I don't know, I'd be scared, but at the same time, like, oh, somebody's giving birth on the road. What do you do? Call an ambulance, help her push?
Well, you wouldn't, okay.
You're shocked. You are.
No, you help, that's what you do.
But I would panic because the sight of squeamish stuff and blood and all of that just, I mean, I feel like if I walk into a hospital, I come out with, I don't know, stuff. So anything like that just...
Well, I told you that story of my mother-in-law when she was just walking down the road and like this car just pulled up beside her. She was walking, the doors flew open and the guy started shouting and saying, quick, my wife's giving birth. Oh yeah. But the baby literally just popped out, so it wasn't like any sort of, and it wasn't messy apparently. I don't really get that, but anyway. I was nearly born on a plane. Well, not quite. When my mum was heavily pregnant, she decided to take me to Cyprus while she was heavily pregnant. She was out here. Yes, I could have been born on a plane.
Imagine if you were. Yeah. Would you still be called Chrissy?
I don't know.
Probably Lucy. Imagine
no
if you
idea
were
how that works.
The Lucy B Show. But yeah, it was very interesting. But anywho, swiftly moving on. Now, I was told that in a workplace, if you have a male manager, depending on his lifestyle, if he has a stay-at-home wife or a daughter or a sister, he will treat you better than a male manager who doesn't have that kind of lifestyle.
Really? Why is that? What have they said about it? There's
a study. I just have to find, I've got to remember who did this study. I really can't, I'm so sorry. But
okay.
It's a groundbreaking piece of new research, and it shows that men see female colleagues through a lens defined by the nature of their close relationship with the women in their lives. So, I don't know, I guess somehow if you have a close relationship with your wife or your mother or your daughter, then it makes you a bit more sensitive towards females. You won't see them as a threat, as a competition in the workplace, but you'll see them as, you know, like a younger sister or older sister.
That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine those who don't have that kind of relationship. Then the women in the workplace end up suffering. Is that fair?
Well, it's not, but you can understand sort of... See, this is why home life is really important, isn't it? Because, like, if a man is happy at home, like with his family, with his wife, or
then
who
he
lives
with,
everywhere. He's going to obviously treat other people. So that's quite important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very important. But I can imagine it would be difficult for the ones who don't have that kind of lifestyle and how they treat the other women, and probably...
It's not to say that they would treat them badly, though.
No, but probably like, okay, you know, your promotion will probably wait. But then those who have that kind of...
No, I don't think...
That's what the research says. Facts don't lie.
We're not talking about promotions, are we? We're just talking about the way you treat... Because obviously, if you're in a house full of females, for example, you will understand that sometimes we get into these little moods, or we're more maybe sensitive sometimes. So I think men that have this at home already, they learn how to deal with women.
You do have a point. And
you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I would expect also that women don't really take those kind of issues, in most of them hopefully don't take those issues into the workplace anyway, so I don't know.
No, they don't, but they take
Maybe our experts can tell us later and give us some advice about that.
Unless they take all their baggage of crisis from home, kids, you know, my cousin, when she goes to work, sometimes she's looking for a pen in her bag and there's a pacifier in there or a toy here, and I'm like, gosh, have a work bag and a kid's bag so then you don't get it mixed up. But swiftly moving on. Now, the Educational Secretary says that children need to learn respect and they need to learn social skills, because sometimes you spend such a long time in education and you're just studying, but you forget about what it's like to be in the real world, working with people, being in a work environment. And a lot of employees that have employed graduates, they say they have all the educational skills, but they lack social skills. They don't have that, what's the word? They have the knowledge, but they don't have the experience. So then they kind of look like a fish out of water in the office. So the Educational Secretary is saying that they should join the cadets so they can be prepared for that kind of thing, like working under pressure. And
I think that's a brilliant idea.
when I read that, I was like, oh, it's a bit harsh. But when I looked at the article deep, I was like, it's really good.
I think kids would. I think that'd be really good for kids nowadays, because most youngsters nowadays have got their heads in Facebook and Twitter, and they don't communicate as like we did, for example, when we were kids, or even now.
Yeah, everything.
Before we used to talk to people, we used to interact with people. Now everyone's stuck on a computer or on their iPad or whatever. Or
WhatsApp, or you know,
I think that's
your
really
friend
good
will be
idea.
over there, and then you just send a WhatsApp, get me a bottle of Coke, please. But you could just shout it out, which will make it a lot easier. So I think that would help young people to have more of a social experience, because sometimes employers say, no, we can't employ you because you don't have experience. But how will you get the experience if they don't give you a chance? So it's like, what do we do? Where do we go? What can be done about it? I don't know, but something has to be done, because we really need to help the young people. And as a young person myself, I think we need a lot of help. Don't you think so, Chrissy?
Yes. Carry on, I keep doing it.
Right, I wanted to talk about the Oscars now.
Okay.
I saw an array of colours and all these lovely dresses, and you know, I'm a fan of fashion, but today it's like a black day today. Look,
I
we both got black tops.
Wait till you see our guests as well. We all decided to wear black for some reason today.
It's hilarious, but yes, oh gosh, the Supporting Actress Award went to, I think her name is Lupita, I can't pronounce it properly, but she won that award. And her speech has gone viral. Everyone's talking about her speech.
I didn't see it.
You didn't?
No.
Well, I only caught
Was it
it.
really?
I caught it on YouTube, and it was quite powerful, short, straight
I don't
to the
actually
point.
watch much TV. I think I need
Neither
to
do
start
I.
watching TV.
Everything's on YouTube,
Okay.
I tell you.
So what
But
happened?
yeah, she gave this really emotional, heartfelt speech, and saying that it's unfortunate that her joy and success comes from someone else's pain, but through that, it's teaching others how to be with each other, how to get on and just learn to be successful, but not taking somebody else down. So everyone was up and clapping and exciting. And I discovered that Brad Pitt produced 12 Years a Slave. I didn't know that.
Ooh.
I was really, really shocked. I was like, wow, I didn't know he even produces. But they won the awards. I think they won a number of awards, and plus topping that with Best Actress. So it's quite a lovely night for the Oscars.
Yeah.
If only I could be there.
One day Rihanna will send you there, and you can be
I
our
hope
reporter
so.
over there for us.
But another thing about giving birth, would
no.
you let TV cameras film you?
Of course
giving
not.
birth? Well, this first time mother did, and now she's famous. I don't really know how to explain it, but I guess she wanted the experience of being famous at the same time as showing others her pain. I don't know where I'm going.
As in proper TV cameras,
proper
or
TV
a crew,
camera.
a TV crew.
TV crew, like recording her.
Yeah, but
as
they
she
used to
went
do
into
these things
labour,
anyway. But then people
giving
do
birth.
these things already.
But why?
I remember at school, I think they used to show us some stuff like that.
Is it normal? Like, can people just do that naturally? Right, I want to give birth. Come, record me. Let others see.
I suppose
my
for
pain.
educational purposes they would, but not just for the sake
Just
of
for the
it.
fun of it. Well, she said
Like
it was
Jordan wanted to do.
Jordan. I can't remember who that is.
Katie Price.
Did she?
I don't know if she actually did it in the end, did she?
I'm
I
not
know she
sure.
was going
I don't
to.
follow her so much.
Does anyone know? Sorry, I don't even know. Did she? Anyone?
Did she end up doing it?
Right.
Well, this young lady said
I
it
know she
was
was
a
planning to.
really good experience. She said it was personal, but she wanted to share it with everyone.
I don't really get that.
Yeah, but well done. I guess being famous works out one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Rihanna, thank you so much for the
Thank you,
news. And we'll
Chrissy.
see you again next time,
Yes,
I hope.
we will.
All right then, so do stay with us because after the break, I'm going to be interviewing my first guest, Leah from the Happy Millionaire. Do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and now I'd like to welcome Leah Perkins from the Happy Millionaire. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Now, what is the Happy Millionaire? Because that's a very interesting name for a company.
Okay, well, the concept of it is that I work with people that are already wealthy and I help them to be happy. I think it's a bit of a taboo subject because there is this kind of view in society that money equals happiness. And actually, when you look into it and you speak to people, and I've done a lot of research on it, it can actually cause problems of its own.
Yeah.
So it's helping people with these problems actually arise from wealth.
What are maybe some of the common problems in that people with a lot of money have? Because did they think before that once they got their millions or whatever they would be happy, and then they find out that they're not? What's the main issue with them?
There isn't a main one. There's lots of different things,
Okay.
which, there's all sorts of things. But like you said, one of them is expectations. So it's kind of thinking, oh, once I get this money, then everything will be amazing. You know, that golden question, like, what will you do when you win the lottery? As though, like, suddenly your life will be completely different in all positive ways. So expectations is one. It can cause all sorts of relationship problems. In the papers, there's been loads of things recently about people winning the lottery and then relationship breakdowns happening. Lack of trust as well, having problems with people like that, people not trusting you, or you not trusting other people. All sorts of complications, so yeah.
People don't really think about those things, do they? So.
Well, like I said, I think in the media it's also, you know, everyone thinks money makes you happy. That's the message that's put out there from when you're born. It's like, go to work, get a job, make money, and that's the answer. But actually, it's not always. So,
how do you help then these people? So these wealthy people come to you and say, look, Leah, I've got all these millions now, and but I'm still miserable. What do you say to them? What are some of the things that you take them through?
Well, it actually depends with what they come to with me first. So often it could be, for example, they're so focused on making money that they neglect other areas of their life.
Right.
So it could be they're really confident in their business, but actually outside of that, with things like relationships, health, all that sort of thing, work-life balance, they're neglecting those areas.
Right,
so that could be something that we start to focus on and try and create that balance in their life. It could be an absolute range of things, but because I'm a therapist and life coach, I'm able to kind of deal with quite a wide range of issues. So, you know, people might come to me depressed, people might come to me because they've got loads of money and they want to think about how they can use it for personal development and all that sort of thing. Okay,
so they go through quite a few problems. So there's a lot of people that sitting at home thinking, I could really do with a few million right now to pay off my debts or whatever. But then it also comes with its fair share of problems as well.
It can do. I mean, I'm not saying money makes you miserable, because obviously it's an amazing resource and it can solve a lot of problems. So no way am I saying that it does make you unhappy. It's just being mindful of the things that can come with it and being prepared for those things.
Do you think though, as well, because sometimes I think one of the reasons why people do sometimes feel down and depressed even when they've got their money or their business, because that is their life, that becomes their everything, and they don't have a life outside of, for example, their business.
Yeah, that is something. I mean, that's another thing that we look at, is what their definition of success is. Because again, it could just be the pursuit of wealth and actually failing to recognise other things in their life that could give them so much happiness, but they're not looking at those things. So yeah, definitely.
How can you create like a balance then, do you think? If you are so busy and you're making lots of money, how can you actually calm down a bit?
Well, everyone has the same time in the day. It's about how you choose, you know, to use that money. And Okay, so for a specific example, if you've got your own business and you want to focus on other areas of your life, it's possibly stepping back a bit and delegating. So, I mean, sometimes there's a
Which
bit
a lot
of
of people have
control.
problems
Yes,
doing.
exactly.
I used to have that problem. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I can understand that as well. But
Yeah.
it's looking at the overall picture and looking at, you know, what are my priorities here? Do I want to get to the end of my life and have loads of money, but not actually be happy?
Why did you actually start this in the first place? What got you interested in doing this? Because it's quite unusual.
I think it was a combination of things. I think it was experiences I'd had myself and people I'd witnessed around me that, you know, they had all these materialistic things, they had all the money in the world, but actually they were quite unhappy, really. So I think I had first-hand experience and observational experience of that.
There's something quite close to your heart then that probably makes you more passionate about it.
Yeah, I think so. And then I just started researching it quite a lot, and actually I was like, wow, this is a massive topic that's really underrepresented.
Yeah.
So kind of just went from there.
Such a clever thing to do. All right, so I have got a few, because we did sort of say to the viewers before that we had some top reasons why losers give up too soon. So I just wanted to get your take on it as well. This is actually from a writer. I found this online, by the way. I just happened to come across it and I thought it was quite interesting to share with you. It's from a writer called Annie, let me try and pronounce this, Chibuchangyan, I think. Sorry if that's completely wrong. And there's actually more than these here, but I just kind of condensed them. So one of the reasons, for example, that people give up is because other people tell them that they can't do it, that it's a stupid idea. So obviously we have people like, if you read the biography of Steve Jobs or Michael Jordan, for example, they were classic examples of people telling them that they couldn't do it, but then they just proved everyone wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's one of the steps and one of the things. Another one is your life is already good enough. So, you know, if someone's trying to achieve something and then you start to have this thought in your head, it's all right, you've achieved enough now, so why don't you just stop? Yeah. That's another reason why people tend to give up.
Yeah, and I think that also goes back to comfort zone. I mean, we are creatures of comfort, and we do like to be in our safe place. And we were talking about it earlier, actually, beforehand, saying that life actually starts outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
And I mean, it's your choice. If you're happy just to plod along, that's fine.
But it's boring like that, isn't it?
Some people are okay with that, but it's like, you know, when you get to
but they don't realise what they're missing out on, do they?
Well, maybe.
Because, I mean, it is obviously, comfort is nice, it's comfortable, but then you don't really get anywhere, do you? Okay. Another one is why people don't basically succeed and they end up becoming, I don't really like the term loser, but maybe someone that's not achieving what they want, because you lack self-confidence. There's no self-belief, you lack confidence in your abilities. But that's something that actually can change, because I was a person that was very unconfident about myself, and I know that's something that I had to get help for. And so it doesn't mean that because you do lack the self-confidence, that's the way that you will always be, because you can change and you help people to change that, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been there myself. When I was younger, I was like, had really low self-esteem. And I think, you know, when you've been through it, you kind of want to empower other people to do that, because you know that when you come out of it the other side, it's amazing. Yeah, it is. And anyone can do anything like that if they want to.
Okay then. The other one is, if you tend to fail a lot, it's because you lack focus. Now this is a big one, because there are so many distractions nowadays. Social media especially, right? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. Everyone's constantly on it. They don't, like we were talking earlier with Rihanna, people don't interact anymore, but these are major distractions that can get you off your goal. If you're not disciplined to say, okay, I'm going to focus on my work now, and I'll have to take a look at Facebook later. The time just flies by, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. And I think also social media is part of creating a business as well. So it's very easy to use that as an excuse. It's like, I'm doing that for that purpose. But it is very much about having that mindset and being determined and reminding yourself of your goal and where you're heading. So it is all the mindset, really. Okay. And let's see what else this person says about why people fail sometimes. Because you don't see immediate results. Now, this is a big thing, because sometimes when people, you must know when you started your business, it's hard when you don't see the progress and you think, oh my gosh, nothing's working, it doesn't seem to have gone anywhere. How did you overcome that? I think through doing my kind of studying and research, I was very much aware that to get to success, you have to go through a lot of failure. And it's kind of, I mean, I don't know anyone that hasn't gone through failure to get to where they want to be. And I think I was just reminding myself of that. And also having that drive, knowing
where you're going and why you're going now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just being aware of those things and keeping them in mind.
And to be realistic, because you are going to face problems, things are going to go wrong sometimes. You can't just expect like a bed of roses. You might as well just be working for someone.
Well, exactly, and where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
It's so easy, what's the point?
Okay. Another reason is because, okay, I've just skipped one. It's not your dream. So, for example, this is a classic one. I've had people on the show before saying how it was their parents' dream, for example, for them to, I don't know, be the classic, the doctor, the lawyer.
Yeah.
And if it's not your dream, you're not going to be able to keep going, because as soon as you face the first hurdle, you won't have that strength inside of you to try and jump over it, around it. It has to be your dream. It has to be something that you want to do. And I always say on the show that if you're doing something you don't like, don't be afraid to change. It will be hard, but at least you'll love what you do. And I think you kind of make up time as well, don't you, when it's something that you love, even though you've kind of wasted.
And you have to have passion. You have to have passion for what you do, because it keeps you motivated, doesn't it? Otherwise, what's the point?
Definitely. Okay, and this is what we kind of touched on this one already. You miss your comfort zone.
Yes, definitely.
It's scary. It's very scary when you step out of your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's so many things, but when this sense of achievement that you get afterwards, it's amazing, isn't it? The fact that you've actually done something different, you've stepped out there, that's what I think really builds a person's confidence, when you just get over these things that you're afraid to do and that you just go for it.
Yeah, and it's often like the first step that's the hardest, but when you do it, like you said, and you see the rewards,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Like motivates you to keep going.
Okie dokie. Well, we're going to go to a quick break, but you're going to stay with us, because we're also going to be joined by a young lady, and she's Miss Jamaica UK. So we're going to welcome Sherelle Rose to the sofa just after this break.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissie B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before I introduce my next guest, let's take a look at this video for 5 Steps to Success by James Michael Lafferty, CEO of American Tobacco.
5 qualities you need to succeed. Talking today to James Michael Lafferty.
What would you say to somebody like a young person or anybody maybe who's having to change a career and they really wanted to have a successful career and climb the ladder? What would you say to them that maybe the 5 most qualities that they really need to have if they were serious about becoming very successful in what they wanted to do?
The first one would be courage. They need to take risks in their career, especially young people. They need to gamble a bit, and they need to go for it. When you have children and you have a spouse and you have house payments, you lose your ability to be flexible. When you're young like Morgan, and you just have a house, you're just renting an apartment, and you don't have a car, you don't have a husband, you have kids. You're flexible. Take the risks and swing for things. The second thing that you need is coachability. You have to be willing to absorb information and get better. Now, it's funny, the SEALs call this the warrior mindset, which is, are you prepared to get better, or do you think you're already good enough? And it's amazing the number of people who say, look, I'm good enough. I'm not open to any more changes or input in my life. That's a dangerous place to be. You need to be coachable. The third is EQ, or social intelligence. Can you work with other people? Everything's about teamwork. And the selfish people, the people who only think about themselves, who step on other people, who don't basically have an understanding of how humans think and what motivates people, are always going to struggle. In any company I've been in, the people that struggled to get along with others never were successful, no matter how big that brain was, no matter how many hours they worked, they weren't going to make it. The fourth would be leadership. You won't find a company in the world today that has enough leaders. There's a dearth of leadership in every corporation in the world today. Now, everyone says they're a leader, but I'm talking real leadership. Doing the right thing, winning over trust. I mean, General Eisenhower said, the essence of leadership is integrity. And, people that are political, that are manipulative, that think they're leaders, they're not. And all of their people know it. This is about people that really take a stand for something. Why does everyone follow Nelson Mandela? Because he did the right thing, even though it was very difficult. That's the essence, that's the essence of leadership. And the final thing would be perseverance, which you're going to have ups and downs. I've had great times in my career. I've had bad times. I've had successful launches and I've had failures. You got to stick with it. The difference between success and failure is nuances. So it's a very fine line. So it's a one or two things sometimes that makes the difference between it. So, and success all the time is a horrible teacher. You need to fail sometimes. I mean, I always go back and tell people the best system to learn skiing is from the French. And the French will tell you, if you didn't fall down today, you didn't do it right. You should fall. Because falling means you tried new maneuvers and new degrees of slope and new hills that have made you a better skier. Not, I'm always going to do the easy runs where I don't fall down and I'm comfortable. You make progress when you're uncomfortable. Comfort is an enemy to anybody because comfort makes us complacent. Comfort makes us just sitting, this is so nice. You got to push yourself, and so that's what's important, is that continual learning and continual improvement and being pushed to do things that you haven't done before.
So you've been having quite a lot of changes in your career, as you're saying, grabbing opportunities and things have gone in different directions. Would you say that that's still happening now in your career?
Absolutely. I've worked for now different companies in different countries. I just came from living in Nigeria. Why? Because it's the most dynamic African country, and I wanted to go there, even though it for many people is a difficult place. I wanted to try it. I wanted to live there. I met wonderful people. I met a wonderful culture, and I'm glad I did that. Yeah, I mean, the day you stop taking risks is the day you might as well just say, I'm gonna sit back and wait to die, and I'm not doing that. So, every time I've ever interviewed 80-year-old people, they say the same thing. I only regret the risks I didn't take. They will always tell you that. And so I've always listened to that. I've taken every job that I've been asked to take, and I've gone to all the geographies that they asked me to move to. And I looked at everything positively, like this is an opportunity to learn.
James' 5 qualities you need to succeed. First, courage. Second, coachability. Third, social intelligence. Fourth, leadership. And fifth, perseverance.
Wow, some great advice there from James Lafferty. So now I'd like to welcome to the show Sherelle Rose, who is of course Miss Jamaica UK, and also we have Leah still with us as well. So how are you, Sherelle?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me as well.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you weren't very happy with your life some time ago, weren't you?
Yeah, correct.
What was happening?
Basically what it is, I came from a very good family where I had absolutely everything, and I never ever wanted for anything. I came from a massive house, dad had money and all the rest of it, so that was what I was used to. Right. And unfortunately my mum and dad decided to split, and then me and my mum went our separate ways, and it was just like we completely just went down, obviously, because we didn't have that support. And I've always been a daddy's girl as well, so I didn't really have my dad around as well. And I just found myself in a really, really dark place, always wanting my dad, crying. There wasn't really anyone around that I felt comfortable to speak to, who I thought would understand me. So I just used to, go to work, my usual 9 to 5 in retail and stuff, and
you didn't like that job? You didn't?
No, never. If I could pretend I was sick or anything, I'll do it. I hated it so much. Yeah. And I just found myself in that routine, and I got so stressed. I ended up having alopecia as well. So my hair was falling out, and I was suicidal, and it just...
Wow, it got to that extent.
Yeah, I was in a really, really dark place. I really... up to this day, think, wow, I can't believe that I was that person back then. And there's not a lot of people that are willing to help you. Not a lot of people, believe it or not, care that much. I had to go to my doctors. He referred me to someone who I started speaking to, but I didn't really feel like it was helping me at all.
So what was the actual turning point then? That changed
everything? Turning point was when you know, there was my mum and my partner, who I've been with since I was 16. They were really supportive, you know, and they believed in me more than I believed in myself. There were a few people that believed in me, you know, it kept me going. You're beautiful, you're this, you know, you're such a bubbly person. And I thought, yeah, I am. And, you know, I did gain a bit of weight as well, believe it or not, with stress. You're meant to lose it, but I gained it. And I met these people called the Transformers. Believe it or not, they are the Transformers. And they were basically a husband and wife. They were a personal trainer, and she was a nutritionist as well. And I was entering Miss Universe London at the time. And they trained me completely free, gave me my nutrition completely free. They said they believed in me so much. The lady, at first, David, who's the personal trainer, he wasn't sure, but his wife was like, there's something about her, you know, we've got to work with her. And yeah, they trained me up. I lost 2 stone. I started seeing her on a weekly basis, you know, and she gave me that confidence, because I had no confidence at all. I was so anxious all the time, just negative about myself. And I won Miss Universe London as well. And then I went on to Miss Universe Great Britain, where I came top 5, and I won Best Beachbody. And for me, winning Best Beachbody was like, oh my God, it was like so amazing. And then obviously I went on to do Miss Jamaica UK, and I ended up winning that as well.
Wow, so you haven't really stopped them since then, have you? One this, one that.
Yeah,
how are things today for you? Are you happy within yourself now that you're doing what you always wanted?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, you know, I'm perfectly fine. I dip in and out, you know, of happiness and stuff. So I'm still working on it. But it's amazing that, you know, I've broadened my horizon. I've travelled to Nigeria, like the gentleman was saying, and that's why I was smiling.
Okay.
Amazing place, you know, nothing like what the media make it. I'm going to Jamaica for 2 months. I'm going to Spain. I'm going to Tokyo. So I'm really just broadening my horizons, meeting new people, and there are people that want to help you, believe it or not, out there.
There are, I know, there definitely are. And that's why we do the show as well, is because it is an outlet to help people that are feeling a bit down in the dumps, because things can always change for you. And there are people that are willing, if you look for it, and, you know, we've also got contacts on our website as well. If you look for the help, people are available, you know, to help. But what did you think of what James was saying on the video as well?
Oh, what James was saying, I thought everything he said was brilliant, and I particularly like what he said about leadership, about not being manipulative but having integrity. That's something I don't think people talk about that much, and you actually, like you were saying, politicians, etc., probably don't go about things as transparently as they possibly should, and it's kind of like it's a false sense of success, because of that they're not getting to where they want to be, whereas if they just said it how it was in the first place, they might have more respect, and we might believe them and trust them.
Okay, that's true. And Shira, what would you say to maybe a young lady that's watching now that hates her retail job? what would you advise her to do and is feeling a bit down in the dumps?
And I completely left retail. So do you know what? I'm taking this risk because doing the 9 to 5, I was tired. I had no time to actually do what I wanted to do, which was modelling and you know, all the glamorous stuff. Well, people think it's glamorous, but it is actually hard work. And I just took that risk. And I think like the gentleman was saying on the video, young people need to take the risk. They really do.
Because if they don't do it now, although I always say it's never too late to start taking risks, even if you're older, you're more mature, you can still do it. But I mean, it's great to do it. Start doing that while you're young, because I think you can achieve a lot more. Ladies, thank you so much for your participation on the show. You've both been great. And all the best with everything that you're doing, you're both doing. And after the break, I'm going to be joined by Chris Brown with the Self-Development Clinic. So please don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissie B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. And but just before I answer this question, I'd just like to say hello to Chris Brown. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm really well. You know what? I'm really well, and I'm really interested to jump in on this. And a few things that were said, I thought was brilliant.
Okay, all right. So give us 1 second. Let's just answer this question from a viewer. This one has actually come from a viewer in Uganda. So I'd just like to say hello to all the viewers in Uganda, because we've started to broadcast there as well. It's great that you're all watching the show. And if you do want to email, you can do as well. Let me just give you the email address, chris@chrissiebshow.tv. Now, I'm not going to read this gentleman's name, but this is what he says. I'm really bad around beautiful women. Every time I see one, my heart beats really fast and I can't stop staring. I'm starting to think there's something wrong with me. Okay, now, first of all, thanks so much for being brave to send in your question. I actually think it's quite normal to look at someone that's good looking, right? Because it goes with not just the person, but if you see like a beautiful landscape or someone, even me, if I see a nicely dressed woman, I will look at her and think, oh, she looks nice. I like the way she dresses. I get ideas for things for myself. So I don't think it's abnormal to look at someone that's beautiful.
No, it's not.
However, if you are already with someone and you start staring at beautiful women, that's when I think that is a problem, because that's obviously very disrespectful to your partner. And also, if you do see someone that's nice, I don't think you should also stare too much, but obviously you're writing in because you feel that's a problem. Now, I think, I'm not sure obviously how you grew up or anything, but probably if you're reacting this way, probably you didn't really grow up around sisters or women. Maybe you've been on your own a lot. So I think when you're not around people and around women, it's kind of like when you do see one that's really gorgeous, you will start to stare, right? I don't know how it is from a man's point of view.
Well, I think from a man's point of view, and particularly this case, I think it's about self-esteem at the same time. It's about valuing self at the end of the day. But it's not only that, it's the idea that maybe seeing women as, with another image. So why? All right, it's natural. Something's beautiful, you'll glance, right? You probably glance. But at the end of the day, why is he glancing? Is it another double thinking in that sense that's making him worried about it in that sense? Yeah, well, I think it's such an issue.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but obviously I would, like you're saying, this was actually my next point as well. I think you also need to work on your confidence and also maybe speaking to people. Maybe another issue is that you're not used to being around women and speaking to them. So if I don't know what you're doing, if you're working or if you're studying, but why don't you just try and maybe strike up conversations with women, with beautiful ones and ones that you don't find beautiful, just to get used to speaking to people and actually interacting with people. And I think that would, as a friend, and I think that will give you some confidence, and you probably won't find it like when the beautiful woman does walk past you, maybe you won't react in that same way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if he interacts as a friend, forget about the beauty. What about a person inside, the beauty inside? Exactly. And I'm sure he'll attract the right beautiful woman in the end. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, I hope that's helped you, friend from Uganda. And if anyone else has a question, you'd like to know what I would do in your situation or need some advice, please do email me on chris@chrissiebshow.tv.
Great stuff.
Self-development, what we're doing.
Self-development, we're talking about LFT, which is low frustration tolerance, right?
Okay.
And we touched on that some time back before. Low frustration tolerance. Talking about the sort of situations where things we get frustrated about, and do we need to be frustrated about? I mean, could you think of things that frustrate you? What do you say? Top of it. Timing?
Yes.
Yeah, timing? Oh, go ahead.
I really get annoyed when people are late.
Right, when people are late.
Yes.
Yes, I'm very much the same.
Whether that be deadlines or I'm meeting someone and they're late, that really frustrates me. Okay. I've calmed down a lot though from what I used to be.
You've got better with it?
I have, because I realised.
So you've gained on the low frustration tolerance. Think about this as well, this scenario. You are at home, right? You're getting ready for work, you're late, you've grabbed the coffee, you grab a jacket, you run outside your house and gonna jump in the car, and you look and there's a car in front of your driveway, right? Frustration, anger, all the things that kick in and you think, well, what can I do about this? This is the actual situation. Now, automatically, we've got this low frustration tolerance, a way of thinking as well, which can turn into negatives. Right, one, why have they parked in front there? Why is it my house? Why does it have to be me? Why are things never done?
All these things go through your mind in like split second, don't they?
That's it, so many of them. And then there's the one where it gets violent as well. People actually think, well, if I see that person, I want to punch them or whatever. Yeah, I mean, talking about it, thought about it, right?
Yeah.
Right, the funny thing about it is this, when we actually look back at that, we're getting frustrated about things that really don't need to get us that wound up. And we get wound up about this unnecessarily. Getting wound up about these things unnecessarily actually plays with our health, our heartbeat, depression, all these areas, because we're not in control.
Yeah.
Now, getting back in control, think about this. You've got a situation. Somebody is parked in front of your driveway, right? Then we've got the thinking as well, why does this happen to me, right? then all these things always happen to me. And then we start getting more and more frustrated and winding up all the time, right? Taking it down, dispute instead. Right, one, it's happened. There's nothing you can do about that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So let's think about this. If we had a dispute, well, maybe if I had, let's say, put a sign up on my driveway that said no parking, that would have taken care of the situation, right? Maybe that person in the car had a situation where they might have had a child who was ill, gone to the hospital, had to run off, nowhere else to park, right?
Yeah.
That's taking care of the situation. So while going through this process, you're actually realizing, well, look, it's not as bad as you think. So what's the next thing you do? Look for a positive action. Positive action will be something like, well, I'll phone work. What else can I do? I might do something like take the bus, take the train, take my laptop with me, work it out. By the time you've got there, all this frustration's gone. You realize it's not really needed.
Yeah.
But talking about that, it's not only that, it's many situations that we actually have this LFT, but it actually works in a positive as well. Because you've actually said it when I started off, you said, I used to get frustrated before, right? Now, obviously, you've got used to it.
Don't get me wrong, I still do, but I control it now. I managed to sort of calm
You're
down.
in more control, right. Well, the other thing is to put yourself in situations. Put yourself in situations that you normally would get frustrated with. It might be the queue situation. You know what, I was terrible with that. Patience and queue, driving, somebody cutting in. Oh, you know. Now I always say, well, look, one car back, stop one car back. Don't worry about it, let them go. You know, that sort of thing. So putting yourself in a situation over and over, your tolerance builds up. Many situations that people get frustrated about, and sometimes it actually costs people their life for the things they get frustrated about. I mean, I heard in the news the other day about some guy who actually punched some guy and that was it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Heard about that? I mean, that's pretty sad. I'm sure up to now this guy is having regrets, thinking, why did I do that? No low frustration tolerance. Couldn't handle the situation, reacted. You know, it's a lot more serious than we actually think. The things that actually frustrate us do not really need to. Things will go wrong. Life isn't perfect.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't expect everything just to go smoothly and everything.
Exactly, you know, and we do it all
and
the
when
time.
we say as well, like, this always happens to me, actually it doesn't always happen. That's an exaggeration, isn't it? It happens maybe happens from time to time. And obviously the time that it does happen, like you're saying, find a solution next time,
That's
try
it.
and
Exactly.
to minimise the thing from happening again.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always
It doesn't
happen.
happen to you all the
That's
time,
very rare, I
exaggerating.
think, for that to happen to someone.
Well, think about this, babies as well, they've got terrible low frustration, and supermarkets know that, right? Because you push the baby through in the trolley, and just at the aisles, just when you're going through to pay, they've got all the sweets, all the chocolates. What happens? Child starts screaming out, I want this now, I need it now, I'm going to scream it, let me get it now. Low frustration tolerance. As we grow, we should really be able to handle things a lot better. We don't throw our things out the cot and, you know, get really silly about it. So low frustration tolerance is a thing to think about, how you actually deal with issues. Dispute, work out what it is, what can I do, how can I handle that better, and handle myself better in the situation.
Stay calm.
Chill.
And actually, we are, like I said, I think I was mentioning to you, we are going to be doing a show very soon about how to keep calm, how not to get stressed and...
That would be good.
And please don't think when we were talking about sort of taking things easy, that's not what we mean. We don't mean, doing things that you have to do, still working hard, but not getting stressed about it. And I think that's going to be really beneficial for me and for Chris and for our viewers as well, right?
Yes, very much so.
What did you think of Jim's video, by the way, just
Do you know
before
what?
we go?
I was very impressed by that. You know, Jim hit some really good points, and one of them was about intellectual social side. And we was talking, and on the other side, actually was with Rihanna talking about it as well. We was talking about certain age groups as well that have that. You've got to learn how to interact socially. Success isn't just about your one ladder, I, me and myself. It's about who you interact with as well, who you are. Not interacting with someone because you want that success person, which everybody can see straight through that at the end of the day. Just being yourself and interacting with people makes all the difference.
That is a big thing, because I think people know, if you do that, you're basically using people, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
And people know when, generally, they can tell when someone was just talking to them or helping them because they want something back in return. But it's wonderful when you do things for people that can't help you back.
But it's also nice when somebody comes and asks you for that help and how to do so. I mean, there was this young guy that I know, he wanted mentoring, and he wanted the same thing, going up the career ladder and all that, and he came and he asked about certain things, and I thought that was great. Whatever I can give, I will give at the end of the day, because he's been sincere about it. It's a very important part, but all the steps that he used there, very important.
Spot on,
totally agree.
weren't they?
Spot on. I was over there putting thumbs up,
I can see you
going like that.
everyone was nodding.
Yeah,
All right.
so one from Miss Lafferty there. Right. Great
Chris,
stuff.
thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you again next
Pleasure,
time.
Chrissy. We're here next
Time
week.
you're on.
Thank you.
So the show has ended for today, folks. But if you want more information about this show, you can visit the website chrissiebshow.tv. Don't forget also to like the Facebook page if you haven't, The Chrissie B Show, and of course you can find us on Twitter as well, Chrissie B Show. That's it for now, and bye-bye. Till next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Surprised we were actually talking to someone inside, weren't we, that they were from Thingy. So there was a gentleman.
Wait.
Barbs, there was a gentleman.
Wait, Barbara, you look.
Right, okay.
Okay, but you're moving.
Right.